Hello everyone, my name is Ryan from Recco Reptiles, and this is the Gecko Talk podcast. And today we have a special guest, JD Morley from Just One More Geckos. How are you, JD?
Well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. How have you been with the season and everything this year?
Okay. A little slow because of COVID. Most of the shows I wanted to go to got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one I was going to go to, I ended up having to work. I couldn't get out of it, so I didn't get to go to the one in Jerome, Idaho.
Oh, darn.
Otherwise, pretty well.
Good. I know everything's just been kind of slow with COVID as far as like face-to-face like sales, but like as far as the online sales, I've seen those increasing quite a bit.
Yeah. I've heard people that just kept going full forward like they normally do, have done well with sales online.
Yeah. I mean, I miss expos, though, too. It's always fun to go to them, meeting new people, just showing animals off, though, too. So, hopefully next year, that's all fixed.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I miss the expos because as we get to meet people, make new friends, and just see what else is going on out there, and the different type of reptiles, and so I miss that part also.
Yeah. So, we're going to go start with the first question now. So the first question is, how did you get into leopard geckos?
My oldest son, he wanted some crested geckos, and so we bought a couple, or he bought a couple of crested geckos with his own money. And then when he went off to college and left home, he gave them to his younger brother, and then his younger brother started getting some leopard geckos. He wanted a leopard gecko, and his mom and my wife, she let him get one, and then him and I were talking, and he wanted to get a second one, so we got the second one, and then after that, it just he would go to swim meets, and on the weekends when they were going to a swim meet, watch the geckos and feed them, and then I just got into them, and then started buying some specialty geckos, like super giant, some raptors, and then I just got the fever. He wanted to breed, and so I was like, all right. But he only wanted to breed one or two, and I ended up wanting to breed like 20, and it just got out of hand from there.
That's cool. Well, so the first morph that you worked with was like super giant?
Yeah, it was a super giant, and then head raptor.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were able to get some raptors, a couple raptors the first year when we bred. And then we just, reinvested, going for silver giants, and then, max snow, and then went for blizzards, Diablo Blancos, and did that same for a while. And had a really good time with it.
Oh, that's fun.
And then he fell out of it after a couple of years, and I just kept going.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a sickness that you just can't get rid of.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, it's just, I've pared down quite a bit. I don't breed near as much as we did at first, but I do like having them around, and I like the breeding. It's like Christmas whenever the egg hatches.
Yeah.
Actually, today, I had one hatch this morning. It was my last one out of the bunch, and the others hatched in August, and so this last one hatched, and it's just a little raptor from the Mandarin Tangerine line.
Oh, that's nice.
So, I've never hatched anything this late. Usually, I think August or maybe beginning September has been my latest.
Nice. So, I'm going to move on to the next question now. Alright, JD, so for the next question, what does a breeder need to establish as far as picking morphs to, just fit them in the hobby?
So again, they want to pick the morph or breed what they like, what they're interested in. Not the money makers, but just the geckos that they really like. And then they want to do their research on that morph and talk to as many breeders as they can to find out where's the best place to get their start or get their male from, and then if they can, it'd be a good idea for them to work with another breeder and get some hands-on with that breeder as far as pinning cages, handling the geckos, learning male from female, seeing what a healthy gecko looks like, and then just seeing what that breeder does, so they have some good ideas of what they're going to do. And then just researching, either like Ron Trepper's got a couple good books that you could pick up, searching the internet, and then seeing how you're going to do it, kind of plan ahead. Like what kind of rack system you want to use, what are you going to do with the hatchlings, how are you going to sell the hatchlings, and then start small. I'd recommend like 1.1, maybe 1.2 the first season or two, and just get your feet wet and see how you like it. Because usually what happens is you're like, ooh, I'm going to be a leopard gecko breeder, and then you're doing 2.6, 2.8. And now you have 80 to 100 baby leopard geckos. You didn't really plan for it, and you have no outlet for the geckos either.
Yeah.
So then you're stuck feeding them, and you got to have a plan of how to sell them and get rid of them. Otherwise, you'll just be overwhelmed, or you'll just have a bunch of sick geckos because you're just overwhelmed and you can't take care of them.
Yeah, and food's also expensive though, and like you have to be ready to take care of all those babies too, and always have to be ready for eggs that aren't going to hatch. It's like a 50-50.
Right. Yeah, and even now, especially with COVID, it's been hard to get, like, I like to use super worms, and they've been pretty hard to get a hold of. I like to get the mediums, the 1-inch super worms, and those have been hard to come by just because of COVID. And then I think, was it China that had a problem with them?
I think it was with mealworms too.
Yeah, and then like Rainbow, they just got inundated with orders they never had before. They're trying to make everybody happy, and I think they're way behind, or they were at least way behind on breeding also. So yeah, you do want to have a plan, and then you want to have a backup plan too. I try to keep a stash of a somewhat colony of mealworms for myself, just in case I run into times where I can't get the amount I need. And then usually that small this small group of mealworms I have that I breed will get me by at least for a week or two until I can get what I need.
Yeah. And that's a thing that I ran into also, because I also have I like to feed dubias. But the first colony of dubias that I had, just kind of, I fed them all off within, like, not even realizing it, and then you always have to have it's good to always have a backup. That's good.
Right, yeah. Yeah, no, I've learned the hard way. I still go through hard times. Usually what I like to do, and I don't know why I do it, is I need geckos to order them that weekend, I need, like, some super worms or mealworms to order them that weekend, hoping they'll get there, Tuesday or Wednesday, because I'm out. And then it never fails. Monday's a holiday, so there'll be no shipping Monday, so it's later in the week before I'm getting them. And now, some of the sites, you need a 2-week lead before you'll get them. So they won't even be shipped out for 2 weeks or more. So you really got to plan on how many you're going to get, and then when to order the next ones and try to get them in before you run out.
Yeah. Definitely have to be prepared before you start, getting everything together.
Right, yeah, and that's why you should just, I think it'd be cool if you get us hooked up with a breeder, just go to their place, check it out, and pick up a lot, and it'll help cool your jets, too, as far as when it gets so many so quick, and give you time to really think about it, and get into it with a game plan.
Yeah. So for the third question, why is honesty so important to this hobby? As far as like genetic history, just everything in, I guess, that class. Why is it so important?
So when people ask me, like, what's the difference between a store-bought gecko and then, say, a gecko you produce, because, you got two tangerines or 2 orange geckos there. when a breeder's on a gecko, he's giving you the genetics. That's why you're paying more. That's because then you know the genetics of that gecko. You know whether there's any heads in it, and that's what you're paying for. And without being honest and upfront, you're going to totally ruin somebody else's project. And it'll bite you later down the line too, because it's going to ruin your reputation. Also, I'm not going to mention any breeders, but there's been some big breeders who had heads in their lines. They said they didn't, and then when you backbred to the mom or dad or the siblings, then pops up some gene that's not supposed to be there. Totally destroys everything you've been working towards, and word gets out, especially with social media. If you're not honest, it's gonna come out pretty quick. It'll come out with a vengeance. And it's just part of being a good person. Just being honest with your genetics and letting them know what's in it. But it's hard too because you buy your geckos from somebody, and so you're going off their word for it. Unless you test breed everything, and I've done test breeding before too, but that creates a whole other problem of having geckos that are head for different things, and then you end up selling them either to a local pet shop or just as pets, and then you just hope nobody else decides to breed them back, and then release them back into the true breeders, and then just ruin everything. But yeah, I mean, you have to do your due diligence, and otherwise you just ruin the whole hobby.
Yeah.
If we had a bunch of, because they get a trimper albino, and then you get the rainwater and the bell, and if you start mixing those up, and then and it's hard to tell which is which, or if you got two different genes in there, that totally destroy all sorts of projects. So you gotta be real careful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think being honest, and then also just you're taking care of people that you deal with. If you sell them a gecko and they run into problems, you want to be there for them, and then work out whatever problems they've got, or try to make things right. Sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes things just happen. But it's just always a good idea to try. Just to do your best to keep your customer satisfied as best you can.
Mm-hmm. And then it's also kind of like when you're selling an animal too. You're not only selling the mark as a breeder. It's a good animal. The genetics are there, but you're also kind of selling yourself too, to make sure that if that person were want to buy from you again.
Right, and they'll tell their friends,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the geckos I sell, they're just referrals from other friends. Like a friend bought one and they really liked it, so then they told a friend, or in a local Facebook group or something, they'll mention my name, and then I'll end up getting a sell that way. Because I don't have a huge presence on Facebook or Instagram, and I really haven't put anything new out in quite a while. So people coming by just because someone else said, check out JD, he's got some cool stuff, see if there's anything there you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't always have what they're looking for. So then, and then I might pass them on to another friend like 208 Exotics, and they can check them out, see if they've got anything, and help them out that way. But I mean, that's your whole reputation, your whole words on what you produce, and if you're being honest or not. And if you're not, you're just trashing yourself. And that's not doing you any favors.
So JD, we're on our last question now. What or how do you think the hobby will change within the next few years?
I think in the next few years you'll see more people shipping their animals, buying online and getting them shipped. Even with COVID, hopefully COVID will go away. We'll get back to doing some live shows and reptile shows together. But I think more people are getting used to it and are able to deal with the shipping. I think you'll see more sales online, either through Morph Market or whatever else is out there. And then these live shows that they have on the internet too, like they have the reptile shows online. I think those are going to be pretty interesting and seeing how those turn out. Have you seen any of the live shows, or have gone online to look at the live shows and see how they're displaying the animals?
I saw one on YouTube that they were doing like a live feed on YouTube. I think it was like Supreme Gecko that was doing something like that. But I haven't seen a whole lot on it. Just like the various small ones here and there.
Right. Yeah. I haven't had time, or when they're on, I'm usually working.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I forget about. If you can go back later and check it out. But I think we'll see more of that. That'd be kind of cool. But hopefully they'll have more live shows, because I do like the live shows. Getting to meet new people and see people and seeing things up live in person is a lot better than seeing them.
Yeah.
Just in 2D on your TV screen.
Yeah.
A computer screen. And then there's gonna be we've got some new morphs out now, and it'll be interesting to see what people do with those morphs.
Mm-hmm.
Where the Cypher and the Blue Eye, and see what they mix those with and what they come out with, and then I'm sure there'll be more morphs coming. We seem to get one or two every 4 or 5 years. There seems to be a new morph popping out, so that'll be cool to see
mm-hmm.
What happens next.
Yeah. Hopefully
Do you see anything else different coming down the line, or?
I know that there's stuff, what I've heard, over like in Europe, there's stuff that they're starting to see as far as new morphs. But then there's also stuff with, possible genetics for the fuscus, over in Europe and Asia that they're starting to kind of spot out. So just not only the macularis, the other parts of Eublepharis are starting to see some potential.
Well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I think it was like almost like a snow fuscus or something like that, but it's interesting, and I hope that it proves out, just adds, something cool to the hobby.
Yeah, I'm impressed with like Germany, the Europeans, this stuff I see that they got going on.
Yeah,
which is different than what we have, and so it's cool to see. There's Dennis Matthew. He's always got cool stuff. I like his Dino. I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're like 10 years ahead of us. Like compared to like what I see, just in like Germany, what they have. Like one day we could see like a red diamond here, what we have, and then we go look over a page in Germany. It looks like a totally different gecko, way more enhanced. They're doing something right.
Yeah. I'm pretty impressed with them. Even a little jealous of how well they're doing. Because like in Germany, like here in the U.S. in a lot of areas, I mean, you can breed as many geckos as you want, but I think they're limited to how many geckos they're allowed to breed. They're more restricted
mm-hmm.
on what they can do versus what we can do. They seem to make the most of it.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we'll be able to import some stuff from there soon, though. Just to not only clean up our lines, but also maybe get some new stuff in.
Right. Yeah. I'm impressed with their stuff.
Yeah. Certainly cool. Well, alright, JD. Thank you for being on the episode on Gecko Talk, and do you have any last words that you want to say to anyone?
Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing how your next season goes, and your next few seasons, and seeing what you produce. It'll be pretty interesting.
Well, alright. Awesome. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.